Welcome back, everyone, to episode number 76 of the Beginner to Master Speedrun. So I'm coming into today rated 2306, and let's keep it going. I'll try and keep up the winning ways, hopefully provide some more instructive chess, and let's hop into the first game. All right, first opponent, playing Dragon Beast 73. I'm going to play an English opening. There is one person in some recent comments asking for an English. And this might end up transposing into a King's Indian. Yeah, we're going into a King's Indian. This is sometimes the case when you play the English, you get a d4 opening. And I'm going for a line that I haven't played in a while. Yeah, I'm definitely not fresh in the opening theory here. But we're getting some Benoni structure. And white does have the space advantage. We might see e6 or b5. a6, okay. Yeah, b5 is an idea. I'm gonna play a4. Just try and slow down Black's queenside expansion. Opponent's taking time, so that's a good sign. I think we're both out of prep here. Pawn e6. Yeah, let's develop. Knight f3. And bishop e2. Yeah, really just trying to be solid here. Probably castling next move. I can't complain with the opening. I'm actually understanding my opponent's username, Dragon Beast. Maybe plays the Sicilian Dragon, having this fiend-cavaled bishop. You know, a lot of Dragon players also like to play the King's Indian. I'll go ahead and castle. And now we're getting some middle game where I think the position is just quite pleasant for white to play. And I'll try and keep up the pace here. And this is the only open file in the position. Okay, b2, maybe a small target. And there is some idea for black to play knight e4, so I do have to be careful. Like queen c1, knight e4, and then, then the bishop is unleashed. The beast is unleashed. Do I have a5, queen takes b2, knight a4? I don't think I'm trapping the queen. Yeah, what to do here? What about rook a3? Queen b2, rook b3? Queen c2, we trade, I win this pawn. It's kind of interesting. Not sure if that's great for me, though. I don't like these queen moves because of knight e4. Let's calculate. Queen d2, knight e4, I take. Let's say bishop takes. And then how do I defend? Rook a2. Yeah, queen b6 is surprisingly annoying. I could play rook a2 first. I really want to be more active. Rook a3 takes. Rook b3, queen c2. There might be some g4 idea. g4 right away. I'm spending a long time here, but I feel like it's justified. What about g4? Where's the bishop going? Bishop e4, knight d2? It could get messy. Rook c1, queen b2, g4, bishop e4, knight d2. Okay, I'm going to play g4. This is not the first move that came to mind. And it's definitely risky moving the pawn in front of my king. But I feel like I had to do something concrete there. I am being aggressive and trying to punish this bishop. I mean, this is very possibly a good move. Okay, knight d2, queen takes b2, trade. Yeah, let's go for this. I'm thinking queen takes b2, rook c1. And then I'm threatening f3. Oh, there might be issues with... Is there an issue with knight takes g4? No, then I take out the bishop. Yeah, black wants to unleash the beast on g7. But the knight's tied down to defending e4. And the question is really to black now how to keep the bishop alive, because I'm threatening f3 to trap the bishop. I'm looking for moves for black. Maybe, no, knight e5 blocks a rook. Thinking knight e5, bishop d3. Maybe h6 to counterattack. And then I have to figure out what to do with this bishop. Bishop f4. That shouldn't change too much. Oh, but then there's g5. Oh, but h6, maybe I just take. And then whatever takes back, I play f3. So black goes for rook e5. So can I take? Take f3. And then I win a bishop. Just checking. I think it's pretty clean, actually. This is sometimes a drawback of developing the bishop with a pawn on g6 is the bishop can run out of squares. I'm controlling all the squares on this diagonal now. Now either take with pawn or one of the knights. Not sure if it makes a huge difference. More inclined to take with this knight. Just to open the queen. Oh, f5 might be coming. Yeah, I still have to be careful. If I take, then f5 and my bishop is a target. That might be okay. I have knight g3, even rook c2. But taking this way might be safer. It's still f5, take. Imagine I could force a queen trade. Yeah, let's take with pawn. I don't think there's any great discoveries against a knight. We do see f5. Yeah, black is trying to muddy the waters. Queen c2 comes to mind. Just looking for other options. I could take first. I do like queen c2. I might be giving back the pawn, like takes, and then black wins e4. But then the rook battery is blocked by the pawn. Queen b4. Do I have this move? Queen a5. I could also take bishop h5, rook e7. Yeah, there's still pressure. What about takes and bishop d3? Even queen b1. What to do? Let's take first. My knight still feels misplaced. I don't think I want to take again. Bishop h5 leaves c4 hanging. Maybe just like king h1, use the g file. Because what is black threatening? Like, I'm not too scared of pawn takes pawn. Then I can play bishop g4 into e6. Potentially. And there's some idea now of rook g1. Shift over to the g file. Maybe I can start with rook g1. With bishop g4, queen takes c4. Bishop e6. I do win. Do I win the pawn? Takes, takes. I think I win the pawn there. Could start with rook b1 too. Actually, let's start with rook g1. Because now I'm threatening this and this. And then I keep initiative against the bishop. Now rook b1. Queen a5. Yeah, let's go for this. I guess after queen a5 takes, there's rook e7, defending and attacking. But then we trade, I win e4. This should be good. Bishop h6. So this is a target. How to do this. It seems like I can just take on e4. Takes, takes, and then bishop d3. Oh, but then rook e7. Oh, it feels so close. Maybe just bishop f3. It does look like a risky move, but the pawn is pinned. And if I can take the pawn, then I'm threatening mate. Like if bishop e3, I think I still take the pawn. Because then bishop takes g1, rook h7, king g8, queen g2. Queen goes back, so if I take the pawn now, and rook e7 is probably coming. Oh, that move. Okay, now I'm up a whole rook. Oh, do I have a nice tactic? Rook takes h7, followed by double check and then mate. I think it's just mate in 3. Sacrifice a rook. And then knight f6 will be double check. And then queen h7 will be mate. Okay, nice finish. Definitely a very complex middle game. My opponent stumbled into some tactical trouble. And yeah, it felt like I was able to convert like pretty cleanly. Like the tactics kind of flowed in my favor. It does help being up material. But let's go back. This is actually an opening. The last time I played it in an over-the-board tournament, I think was against a Wonder Liang. And this was back when a Wonder was not yet a Grandmaster. And I beat him in the last round of some Norm Invitational, I think to get my second IM Norm. But this was back in, I think, 2012 or 2013. So I do have some good memories with this opening. I just don't remember so much specific theory. Very often it will lead into these kind of Benoni Banco Gambit structures. And yeah, my opponent seemed to be preparing pawn b5. Eventually broke with e6. And then I was a little bit uncomfortable after queen b6. Engine says g4 is playable, but it's a mistake. Basically gives away my advantage. Best move would have been queen c1, which I was like very reluctant to play because knight e4 And I didn't quite see a great follow-up, because if I take, black is just better here. There's a ton of pressure. I don't have rook b1. Rook a2 looks kind of ugly. But the engine says a5. And I guess, can the queen go in? Like queen b4? Rook a4, queen b3, bishop d1, trapping the queen. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty concrete. I mean, I probably could have seen this maybe in a classical game if I have several more minutes to think. But g4 was also super interesting. And engine says black should take on b2. Taking on b2 is actually the only move that doesn't concede the advantage. And then I think I was going to decide between takes the bishop or rook c1. What's wrong with rook c1? Knight e4, wow. Black just leaves the bishop here, counterattacks, and if I take, then black is actually doing quite well. Yeah, not always easy to find these engine moves in such a complex position. After bishop e4, yeah, knight d2, and then black is in trouble here because f3 is a threat. I was looking at h6, but I think I just take, and then f3 still. But apparently this allows knight takes g4, counterattacking this. And if takes, it counterattacks the d2 knight. And somehow the game just keeps going, like close to equal here. Yeah, some crazy engine lines. My opponent, yeah, played rook e5, allowing takes. Oh, which isn't... Wait, this isn't good for white? Black has bishop takes d5. How does this work? If I take? Black is better after takes. My knight is pinned. And if rook c2... Yeah, I guess black has compensation for the lost piece. Yeah, this is very hard to judge. And goes to show why Stockfish is more powerful than most humans. But yeah, I guess bishop d5 is findable, just to get 2 pawns for the bishop. And 2 very valuable center pawns too. But rook e8 was played, and then... Yeah, I think the conversion was pretty smooth. Offered the queen trade. I was happy with king h1. And then rook b1, I got initiative. I was considering this. This is actually mate in 6 after knight takes e4. I didn't play it because rook takes e4. Oh, wow. I missed a queen sacrifice. Queen takes e4 here. Oh no, my queen. But white's just mating in a few moves, because if takes, then it's going to be back rank mate. Yeah, if I saw queen takes e4, I'd probably go for this. But okay, bishop f3 was still nice, and yeah, pretty smooth from here. Rook h7 was a nice finish. Okay, fun game. Got pretty tactical. Very different from the games in the last episode. So I'm up to 23-14. Let's keep it going. As my rating gets higher, it's sometimes harder to find an opponent in a short amount of time. I usually cut out the waiting time in the eventual edit. But I've been waiting for now over 30 seconds. Here we go, playing Deformed AF. And we have a queen's pawn. I think I'll stick with my usual repertoire. Okay, this is the beginning of the Colle system. Against the Colle, I like to play usually reverse Queen's Gambit. I'm going to just start by taking. Knight c6 I didn't want to deal with, like reverse semi-Slav shenanigans. And this is now a reverse Queen's Gambit declined exchange variation, which I have a lot of experience with these sort of structures. This is a Carlsbad structure. White's missing an e-pawn, I'm missing a c-pawn. And I just want to develop very naturally. I'll go for bishop to d6. And then look to castle very soon. And actually with the inclusion of h3, white doesn't really have the option of bishop g3, because then I would take and damage the structure. White doesn't have knight e5, which is sometimes a nice move. Oh wow, so white plays bishop g3 anyway. Trying to prove me wrong. It is legal. I guess if takes, white wants to castle and use the f-file. But I can take and play queen c7? Simply attacking the pawn, and we see king f2. Interesting. Yeah, it might be hard to punish this immediately. But long term, I mean, this structure should not be great for white. The question is what to do here. I kind of want to play this move, but takes, and my king is still in the center. There's rook e1. So maybe I should just castle. Do I castle queenside? It's kind of interesting. And then try and attack on the king side. Actually makes sense, because white's attack on the queen side isn't too quick. Yeah, let's go for this. The first I was more inclined to castle kingside. But I really want to play rook he8 and then e5, or even e5 right away. Especially with the knight being pinned and the king still being here. We might end up seeing g4, bishop g6. We see b4. So now, yeah, I guess white has the idea of pawn b5. Like, I want to play this, but then b5, it could get spicy. b5, e4 takes. Maybe I would just take back. But then knight e5. I'm thinking king b8 here. Get the king to a safer place. Because at b5 I have knight a5. Yeah, I'm going to start with king b8. It looks a little bit slow, but there's just so many cases where the king is better here. Like if the c-file opens, or if like b5 and queen a4 happens and my pawn is defended preemptively. a4. Yeah, white wants to play this and then b5. I'm trying to figure out, like, do I have e5 now? I mean, it's very similar to what I was calculating before. I guess one line I didn't look at before is e5, b5, knight a5, takes, and then queen takes e3. And this is now possible because rook c8 is no longer a pin. I'm counterattacking the bishop. I'm going to go for it. e5 is a type of move that I could probably spend a lot longer calculating. But I'm relying on some intuition, given that white has a lot of targets in the position. And the center opening up should favor the side with better pieces and the safer king. It should be black in both regards. And there is g4. g4 bishop. And after g4 I have options like e4 is a move, or bishop g6. We see b5. And yeah, now I have the choice between knight a5 or e4. These are the main considerations. e4. I just don't like the idea of the b5 opening. I like the idea of blockading white's pawn storm. So another intuitive move. But this could get crazy. Like takes, queen takes c3. Hopefully it's a good kind of crazy. I'm hitting the bishop. I think I would be happy with this trade. And the pawn could get to g7, but then maybe rook he8, even rook g8, win back the pawn. Bishop e2. That's a good sign, retreating move. It does block the pin, but maybe now I have knight e4. If takes takes, I hit the queen and knight. Yeah, I might just be winning like completely here. Also, I just realized, is my camera overexposed? I wasn't really looking at OBS. Sorry if it's overexposed. I'm using a key light, but yeah, hopefully it's not too bad. I do sometimes occasionally glance to the side just to check OBS recording, make sure it's not crashing. Audio levels are good. No reason to be suspicious of my eye movements. Okay, white has, what, 4 legal moves? Between this, and this? Or resigning, okay. I think, let me fix the camera. Hopefully I wasn't overexposed like this whole episode. Oh, but now it's fine. Maybe something weird is happening with the auto exposure. Okay, hopefully it's okay. Sorry if it's not. But anyway, yeah, final position is looking very good for black. Last move would have been knight takes e4, d takes e4, but I'm winning a piece. Queen c1, takes. I mean, white could have tried to fight on, takes. Maybe look to trap the bishop. My knight is a bit stuck on a5, but I would like to think I would win this without too much trouble. Let's go back. Let's unpack some of the earlier moments. Yeah, maybe I can start with knight c6. I didn't want to deal with these reverse, like, Queen's Gambit accepted lines. And this is actually considered to be good for white according to the engine. So, yeah, taking is a safe move. And I got pretty much exactly what I wanted. At bishop g3, it's a bit of a positional mistake. And then, okay, the engine does not like castling queenside. It says g4 is the best move here, and white is actually slightly better. After b4, a king b8 still wants g4 from white. Now e5. Engine does like e5. Actually really likes black's position. Oh, I missed knight e4 here. And then queen takes c3. And queen takes c3 is actually a huge blunder. But why? Because after takes, I thought this was fine for black. But the engine likes white. Like rook, I was calculating rook he8 threatening this. But white just has rook e1. And the pawns are kind of crazy. White is technically up a pawn. I guess we're going to get in a situation where my knight's out of play. I can't really exploit the king. Rook g8 would be better here. Yeah, this would still be like pretty complicated to navigate through. But white played this move bishop e2, and then knight e4 was a strong punch. So I'll take it up to 23-19. Fun games today. Let's do one more to wrap up the episode. Okay, next opponent, playing this person. Let's play another English opening. Got a couple English games this episode. And this time we have somewhat of a reverse Sicilian. Reverse Alapin Sicilian. I don't think c6 is that great for black because after knight f3, compared to the normal Alapin, usually the pawn can move forward and attack the knight. But in this case, yeah, black has to resort to a more passive move. And I'll just take the center, pawn d4. Probably look to play pawn e4 very soon. And chess.com is calling this the reverse Sicilian variation. Okay, not the most creative name. Let's just play bishop e2. I thought that maybe this is called the rat. Just sometimes just a setup with d6, c6, queen c7. I'm going to start with h3 here. Usually a useful move in preventing bishop g4, or after bishop e3, there's no knight g4. Well, castle. I think the plan is just rook c1, queen d2, rook f d1, maybe rook f e1. a6 is sometimes preparing b5. But rook c1 is a tricky preventive move, because if black goes for b5, I can take, and take, and there'd be an eventual pin on the c file. I really want to be tricky here. There's a move queen b3 to threaten takes and bishop b6. I'm going to go for it. This is maybe not the best move, but I think it applies a lot of pressure. Black does not fall for the tactic. Maybe now just rook d1. There might be some ideas of c5. Oh, but now black... Actually, black doesn't fall for the tactic. I was thinking takes bishop b6, but with my rook on d1, black can take with check. That might still be very good for white. But is it? I'm not really winning pawn on e5. So take. If I take here, I think the bishop would take to keep this defended. I don't have bishop b6. Maybe I can play rook d2, tricky move, to then again threaten takes and bishop b6. Yeah, I like rook d2. And now, okay, now there should be tactics. d5 or takes, both threaten bishop b6. And it seems like my opponent was maybe slightly oblivious to this. d5 looks a little bit cleaner. Yeah, just hitting the bishop. And then this move will come eventually. Kind of debating whether to take the rook. I should, though. Long term, the rook is just more valuable. But the bishop lived a good life. If I take here... I do want to be precise in the way I try and convert this. Because black might want to keep the files closed. If I take here, it allows knight e6. But actually, this enables knight d5. Yeah, let's go for this. And if pawn takes, I'm probably very happy to trade queens. Oh, but e4 is a target. Huh. Yeah, if I play this, it allows knight takes e4. So maybe I start with rook d1. Threaten to take the pawn. Let's imagine bishop c7. And then bishop d3 to prepare knight d5. I think that's okay. If knight takes, I take. If bishop takes, I just take right away. This is a nice thing about having one more rook than the opponent, is when there's a half-open file, I can better exploit it. Bishop e7. So now I could play knight d5 to hit the bishop. If takes, I take with pawn. Yeah, either knight d5 or bishop d3. Bishop d3, knight e6, knight d5. Also looks pretty good. I'm going to play bishop d3. Oh, knight c5 might be coming, but that's okay. Now the rooks are a bit blocked. They'll probably end up shifting over to the c file. And knight c5 might be coming, but then queen c2, enabling b4. Yeah, b4 looks nice. I will shift over, preventing rook c8. And I do have queen c7 here. Just offer the queen trade. Black might avoid it. I think that's nice to start with. Now, there's some cute idea. I'm going to start with rook dc2. The cute idea is to play queen b7, queen takes rook, and then rook c8. Enforcing the trade. King h7, I guess, kind of prevents that. I'm dreaming of f4 and this diagonal opening. I guess I still have queen b7. And then, yeah, there's still rook c8 ideas. Like right now. I'm forcing the rook trade. And then maybe I can clean up the pawns. Queen takes a6. The bishop will come to life. But I clean up more pawns. Yeah, let's go for this. Kind of wondering about bishop b6, queen a8. Threatening this. Might be some fun mating ideas. But bishop takes b5 also coming just to trade. Or queen takes b5. Okay, now I definitely don't want to play queen a8. Oh, my rook's attacked too. Probably rook c6. Always got a blunder check with my pieces in the opponent's territory. I was just looking at this line. Knight takes d5 takes and then fork, but knight just moved back. And in this case, I could take the knight, I could take the pawn. Taking the pawn looks fine. Are we going to see knight b2? We do. I'll play bishop c2. And now the knight's stuck. I'm not sure if I want to go out of my way to win it. I might just want to start pushing. a4. And yeah, black wants to generate pressure against f2. Like both knights and the bishop are within range of attacking, but I'm controlling all these squares. Maybe just a5. Now the 4 is coming. I could take the pawn as well. Let's take the pawn. Attack the bishop. If bishop c7, I have rook d7. Queen b6. Yeah, just trying to keep full control. knight c4 is not currently possible. Might just move back for good measure. Oh, but then knight a4. Okay, knight a4, queen a6. Yeah, let's just move quickly to not get in too much time pressure. Can I take the bishop? No need, just a5. You can never let your guard down. Just gotta always be aware of what the opponent wants to do. I think I'm pretty safe in just continually pushing the pawn. H3. I just play king h2. Assert my dominance. Not even giving black the chance of sacking. I mean, a7, or probably a ton of winning moves there, but I like making sure everything is under control. And I don't see what black is trying to do, so let's push. And knight d4. Make another queen. I do allow takes. Also allow that. Okay. Yeah, this should end shortly. I have 2 queens. Black still has 1 queen. Where's my mating ideas? Queen b8. Well, maybe rook c8. There is a potential pork. Let's say like knight f4. I play rook h8, king g6, and then knight takes e5 would be the pork, combining the pin and the fork. And we're going to see it play out, probably. This is also a move, but okay. Win the queen. I probably don't need to take the queen. King h5, g4. Okay, opponent resigns. Nice game. Another game that was determined by some tactics. My opponent, was trying to take over the center. Ironically, this move allows white to get a nice central space advantage with d4 and e4. Generally, if black wants to play a reverse alapin, it's against g3 on move 2. And this line is a lot more common. I know Levy, Gotham Chess, has played a lot of games as white in this position. Usually knight f3, e4, knight d4, d5 is some theory. But yeah, here, I think if black wants to still go for a reverse alapin, there's knight f6, g3, c6. And that way, like if knight f3 here, then black can safely push the pawn forward. But as we saw in the game, I got a pleasant position. And then, my opponent eventually fell victim to this tactic. Bishop e6 and d5. Oh, wow. Okay, the engine is spitting out a move that I don't think I would ever even consider. But the top engine move here is not bishop b6. It's knight takes e5. What's the point? After pawn takes knight, d6, so sack a knight, sack a pawn, and then bishop b6. And the point is this is a better version because after I win the rook, if black takes back, I win the bishop, and then d-file is more exploitable. Okay. Another example of why computers are stronger at chess than us mere humans. But anyway, some nice games today. I think I'll wrap it up there. Hope you guys enjoyed them. If you have questions, do leave them below. And if you like the content, do subscribe. It does help the channel. And I'll see you guys soon.